Hey there. I know I haven't been posting a whole lot of videos lately, and I can make excuses why I haven't, but at the end of the day, I just haven't had much time to think about it. And yeah, to be honest, it just hasn't been a priority for me. So today, I'm very excited to share with you something that I am passionate about. And it's not my typical content. Usually I do metal videos or you know stuff like that. But today I am going to talk to you about my. Uh, Today I'm going to talk to you about my 1990s jazz bass collection. All right, so I'm just going to dive straight into it. But if you like this video, don't forget to hit the like button. Give me a comment if you also appreciate what I'm doing here, and subscribe if you want to see more of this stuff. All right, let's get to it. So, quick story. Quick story time before I show you any of these basses. Actually, you know what? Hold on. All right, see this here? I don't know if that's a good angle, but all right. So this is the most recent 90s jazz bass in my collection. I just bought this. Was it yesterday? Sunday? Yeah, it was yesterday. Okay. Yeah, my perception of time is a little bit off because I'm getting older. But anyway, so you see, this is a 1998 Fender jazz bass. And I sold my acoustic guitar for cash. And I purchased this from Facebook Marketplace, a guy on Facebook Marketplace. And yeah, so this particular one, I think it's cool that the guy who sold it to me, he was touring with a popular Canadian artist. I don't know if any of you know Rita McNeil, if you're from Canada or the Atlantic provinces at very least. If not, that's okay. She's just a popular, or she was a popular Canadian artist. Okay, so this guy was touring. His name was Bruce. He was touring with Rita McNeil using this bass, and you might not be so you might not be able to tell just by looking at it on this video, but he told me that this was originally purple, and yeah, I just something about 90s jazz basses, like like it's just vintage enough that they're not super expensive. And of course, these are all made in Mexico as well. If you're a gear nerd like me, you know the Mexico stuff isn't top of the line stuff, but it's still quality, of course. So this is a made in Mexico 1998 Fender jazz bass with a gold refinish. He told me that he got the purple covered by this nice metallic gold. I guess professional painter. There was a friend he had who painted it, and there are some dings on it. See, there's some flaws in the finish, but I think this is a beautiful guitar. It's got the ashtray here, this metal cover, and something unique about this bass. See these knobs? So these are aftermarket concentric knobs. So this bass guitar did not come with these knobs. As well, these pickups. So these are Seymour Duncan quarter pounder single coil jazz bass pickups. And yeah, so that's kind of why I love 90s jazz basses. And I'm probably going to say that a lot because I really genuinely love 90s, well, Fender basses in general. I like the P basses too, but I find the jazz basses are a little bit easier to find. And I just love it when people add their own personal touch to them. I'll get another one here for you in just a sec. So here's the first 90s jazz bass that I ever bought. I bought this off of a guy on, actually I bought all of them off of a guy on Facebook Marketplace. Not the same guy, but each of these I bought from someone on Facebook Marketplace. This one's a 1993. This is a 32-year-old Fender jazz bass, okay? Now the headstock's backwards, but it's a little bit of a better angle for me. So the cool thing about this bass guitar, well, first of all, I fell in love with it because it has an upgraded gold bridge. And this pickguard is a genuine vintage 1960s pickguard, which is very rare to come by. This particular one, this bass has upgraded DiMarzio single coil pickups here. And it's got an upgraded, it's like called the Obsidian wiring system, I think it is. Basically, you don't have to solder the wires when you change pickups. So if you're not good at soldering, you just plug them into the, underneath the control panel here, you just plug them in and the electronics work without soldering, which is, I don't really care that much about that stuff because I don't change pickups on things often, at least not yet. The tuners are also upgraded. I believe they're Schaller or Goto or something, but yeah, this is cool. This is 100% customized. It's got some pretty heavy road wear on it. You see, that's like the worst of it right there. But I just love these basses. They all have their own story, and I'll show you my other one in just a second here. But, you know, if you ask someone to find this exact bass guitar, if you search for this exact bass guitar anywhere, you're never going to find it because, well, you're not going to find this exact pickguard. And even if you do, this is a 93 jazz bass, which is not exactly in production anymore. So this not only has the customizations, you know, it's very personal, but it's something that's got its own character, you know, like it's got history. It's got history in the world. Like someone owned this and loved this bass guitar before I did. I'll get my other one in just a sec here. Okay, so this one's also very interesting too. This one, so these are my only 3 jazz basses at the moment. As you can see, this one has a rhinestone on the headstock. But yeah, this one is so cool. I'll show you why. See this? So if you can't tell, the back is painted here with the words thank you. And the guy who sold it to me, the story was that the person who he bought it from, well, he would flash this thank you, the back of the bass guitar, to the audience every time his band would finish a song, right? So I think that's cool. And, you know, this one's kind of dinged up as well. You see a ding here and a ding here. There's also rhinestones all over the body, which is interesting. I think it's like, it's such a unique instrument that has such a unique history. Like, it's been loved and owned by someone who had their own life, you know? Like, that's crazy to me. And so part of the story too was that the person who had sold it to the guy that I bought it from on Marketplace, Facebook Marketplace, he got dementia, or I guess what you would call, yeah, I think you would call it dementia. I don't think you can call it Alzheimer's without like a proper diagnosis. But anyway, he had dementia, and his daughter sold it to the gentleman that I bought it from because he didn't play his bass anymore. Of course, how could you do that if you're suffering with like memory issues, right? So it is a sad story, and that's part of like this is part of someone's history. I find that so cool. Like this is a 31-year-old bass guitar. So yeah, like I mentioned before, I love 90s Fender bass guitars. They are just at the peak of where you could consider it vintage, right? I think most people could consider a 30-year-old bass guitar vintage at this point. Or maybe not, I don't know. But it's got so much character. Like look how much life this bass guitar has seen. Like just look at that. Everything on it just screams that it had a life of its own. And yeah, and I love the made in Mexico Fender basses too. Just, one of the features that I love about these is how the truss rod's at the headstock instead of under the pickguard, which I personally hate that. I hate when the truss rod adjustment is under the pickguard, but I won't go on to a rant about that, okay? So, yeah, this one's a 31-year-old bass guitar. 1994, same year I was born. That's incredible to me. So, yeah, I just wanted to share my 90s Fender jazz bass collection with you because I just find this stuff incredibly fascinating and interesting, and I've always got my eyes out for 90s Fender bass guitars. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was at least a little bit interesting. And if you did, please give this video a like. Comment below if you have anything to say or ask questions about these bass guitars. Otherwise, just subscribe to see more of this. And thank you so much. Take care.